I still remember her perfume that morning, expensive, artificial, and drowning in something sweet. It clung to the air even after she left. I was 15, standing at gate 23 with my worn-out backpack, a plane ticket in one hand, and a hollow promise in the other. "Something came up, sweetheart," she said, adjusting her sunglasses. "I'll be back before your flight boards. You can figure it out, right?" I did, but not the way she imagined. She walked away with her new husband and his two perfect, golden-haired kids, matching luggage, matching smiles. I watched her disappear into the lounge. A family vacation, she called it. I was just extra baggage. Hours passed. The flight to New York boarded, then the next one. My phone was silent, my stomach hollowed. That was the day I learned abandonment doesn't always come with a slammed door. It can be a quiet shrug in a crowded airport. At some point, I stopped crying. I opened my phone, scrolled through my contacts, and found a name I hadn't seen in years. Dad. We hadn't spoken since the divorce. He'd moved across the world, built an empire, married again. But when I called, he answered before the second ring. "Where are you?" he asked. "Gate 23. 6 hours later, a private jet touched down. He didn't say a word when he saw me, just handed me his coat and told me to get in. I did, and as the wheels lifted off the ground, I glanced out the window. She was probably still sipping champagne by then, laughing, oblivious to what she'd just set in motion. For the next 3 years, I learned everything my father knew: how to move money, how to hide power, how to speak without words. He taught me that revenge isn't rage, it's patience dressed as civility. When I turned 18, I returned home. My mother was waiting with crocodile tears and a "Welcome Home" banner taped crookedly across the living room wall. She said she'd made mistakes. She wanted to start over. I smiled. I told her I forgave her. She didn't realize forgiveness was the wrapping paper around my plan. I started with the small things, helped her with bills, handled her mail, updated her online accounts. She thought I was being dutiful, making up for lost time. I was actually cleaning the trail. Her husband had passed by then, left her a sizable inheritance. Problem was, her name wasn't the only one on those papers anymore. I made sure of that. Quietly, legally, beautifully. Every document, every signature, every transfer moved through the cracks of her own negligence. The more she trusted me, the deeper I dug the roots of her downfall. When she bragged to her friends about her brilliant son managing the finances, I smiled and poured more wine. She never saw it coming. The night it all came apart, she was wearing that same perfume. We were sitting across from each other in the dining room. She was glowing, talking about a villa she wanted to buy, a trip she planned to take. That's when the doorbell rang. 2 men stepped inside, legal officers. They handed her an envelope stamped "Notice of Foreclosure." Her face drained of color. She turned to me, trembling. "What is this?" I took a slow sip of my coffee. "It's what happens when you sign things without reading them." Her eyes darted across the papers. She didn't understand half of what she saw. Shell companies, property transfers, asset dissolutions. All legitimate, all hers. Except they weren't anymore. Every property she owned, every account she'd built with her late husband's money, gone. Reassigned, frozen, transferred through channels she never even knew existed. She whispered, "You did this to me." I leaned forward, calm, steady. "No, you did this to yourself." She begged, screamed, cursed, but the law was colder than she ever was. Within weeks, she was evicted from the house she abandoned me in. The same house where she once told me, "You can figure it out." So, I did. I left her the room she once kept locked for me, empty, spotless. On the desk, I placed a single note: "You can figure it out." People often ask if revenge feels good. It doesn't. It feels precise. Like balancing an equation years in the making. I didn't do it for closure. I did it for clarity. Now, every time I pass an airport, I look at the gates and think about how easy it is to leave someone behind, until they learn how to fly without you. And when the plane lifts off, I smile, because she taught me how to figure it out. And I did.